Oh my god. Hold on a second. Whoa. Hold on. I got a lot of noise on my headset right now, guys. Hold on. Oh, that's why. Okay. Oh my god. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So. Ah. Okay. Some weirdness happened. First off. Oh god. Yes. 18K. I actually did not realize I had something playing in the background. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just like, I'm losing my mind right now. Yeah, 1 second. I'll be right back. Oh my god. All right. I knew I was getting close. Ha! Oh, Fan is here. I had everything set up. I had everything so nicely set up. I had everything so nicely set up, and then I screwed it up because I'm a boomer, and that happens, guys. It has been a bit since we gathered. It has been a bit. Oh my god. That number is an 18. That is absolutely wild at this point. Um and I had everything like I have so many screens up right now, guys, because of the amount of stuff that I've had going on in the past few days. I've had so many screens up, it's just crazy. Um, wow. Um, so I just had a lot of stuff going on today, and then I walked in here and I was like, because I've had people telling me, you're gonna hit 18K in a couple of days, and I was like, oh, okay. And then to have it happen, like I sat there and I opened up my live count, and I was like, oh my god, I could very well cross the threshold right now. And I was like, what better thing to do it under than this kind of a stream where it's like this, with this kind of a stream with all of you here and with a series that the entire community seems to love and enjoy. Guys, we are here for the preview for episode 44. Now, I tap danced my way into the live stream for this accidentally. I was like, oh my god. And as soon as it happened, Discord exploded. My DMs exploded because everybody was like, like fan uploaded. I'm like, yes, I've noticed. So here I am, monster in hand. We're ready to go, guys. Good times rhymes with war crimes. And Palpy, Creamy Sheev is here, okay? Creamy Sheev is here. Oh my good lord. The last time that this happened, when I crossed another threshold like this, I can remember sitting there. The first time that I ever had anybody there with me, it was Icy. And, I still remember it was 2,500. 2,500. And I thought, God, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe that this has happened. Then there was it was 15,000 again, and now 18,000 on live stream. I'm just like, I'm good. I'm good right now. Fan uploaded. Yes. The 62 DMs I got in Discord, I know fan uploaded, okay? We were most definitely going to get this in a live stream. I found out yesterday, and it was the first thing I thought of. Guys, yes. You do not owe me a beer, Prophet. You do not owe me a beer. Alright, so, when we last left off, Creamy Sheev was approaching Tarwaller, and Creamy Sheev had his Sheevathon ready to go. Yes, fan uploaded, Slices, that's why you're here! God! Everyone else was in various stages of screwed. The Jedi are screwed. Everybody else is screwed. Mace Windu's mental state is past screwed. And because of a gene stealer and her boyfriend that she shall soon screw, well, everything else will be screwed. Welcome to hell. We're in Star Wars. Alright. Okay. I love this, Chaos. I love this. Why is Cream Sheevy? I don't know, Hansu. Guys, let's get into this. I have been waiting for this. Oh, and of course, my things wants to disagree with me all the time. Why are you doing this? Come on. Oh, that's why, because I'm a boomer. There we go. Guys, Friday, before Shenanigans, I'll be releasing 5-ish Minute Lore, episode 36, on the Avatar of Cain. And with a special guest, Pancreas No Works, I'm working on getting with someone else that everyone knows. We will see. They might not want to deal with my particular brand of stupidity when it comes to lore videos, but I'm hoping they will. We will see. But the next 5-ish Minute Lore will be on the forces of the Planetary Defense Force. Yes. It is going to be good. Why do you hear dubstep? I don't know. Why do you hear dubstep? Do you think love can bloom on a battlefield? X and chat to Nuke Slices for bringing that heretical garbage. Alright. Emperor, if Major Kill would be the kind of person that would deal with my insanity, okay? No, there will be no such thing as that. That won't happen, Hansu. It will never happen. Let's get into it. Oh, by the way, let me go ahead and say this because I'm eventually gonna have to release a statement on it. Somebody is going around to people reacting to my 5-ish Minute Lores, Mistakes of the Emperor, things like that. Somebody's going around to reactor channels and basically saying things about me. Eventually I'm gonna have to release a statement on it, apparently, and I don't know how, I don't know why or how, but apparently I've been living rent-free in somebody's head for quite a while now, because this has been going on for quite a bit, and they're going there and accusing me of being Nazi adjacent because they say I want to work with Arc Warhammer, which I have never said, and I've actually made several statements to the negative of that. It's just someone, I don't know who it is, and I frankly really don't care. But the sheer fact of the matter is, this person, now, they've done it about 6 times. And They've done it about 6 times, and this it's actually kind of weird. Um, they'll go to somebody who posts a reaction to my 5-ish, and they'll say, they'll just throw an accusation of Nazi adjacentism out there, which is really kind of hilarious considering my inner circle. But they'll throw that out there, and then they will walk off. So if you guys see this, one, no. Two, no. Three, no. Yeah, don't worry about it, guys. Don't If you see them, just shoot down the stupidity, because at no point have I ever wanted to work with, like, and it's basically somebody that hates Arc Warhammer enough and doesn't know. They 10 to 1 they came to my channel, they came to the Discord, said something that would get them banned and wound up getting the door. Okay, that's 10 to 1 what happened. But in any case, it's not like it's not my position. If it wasn't for the fact that it's like this current state of the world that we live in. I mean, the current state of the world we live in, where people are like really, really hypersensitive to that kind of stuff, I wouldn't even bother saying anything about it. But if you do notice this in the comments, if you do see somebody that I haven't seen yet checking out my stuff, and you see a certain I can't remember his name now. It starts with a C. Make some accusation that I want to work with Nazis. Would you kindly just shut that stupidity down without going on the personal attack vector? Don't mob the guy, but just let the creator know that, no, I am not kicking up sick hails in my backyard, okay? It's even funnier when you consider my inner circle. It's just dumb. But yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone would notice by now. And considering the fact that I have been doing this for 4 years, and the main person they're accusing me of wanting to work with, I have never put anything of theirs on the channel, period, ever, or even entertained it, because of the drama reasons that ensue, because this guy apparently just pisses people off. Yeah, just dumb. Thank you, Colin. Thank you, everybody, for being here for 18K. I swear this is great. Profit. Okay. No, yeah, I know, Roddy, I know. But if you see it, just let the creator know, no, he is not kicking up sick hails in his backyard. This guy is just a random troll. But the thing about it is, he has done it to... I have had to explain the fact that this is BS to about 4 content creators at this point. It is what it is. In any case, Avatar of Cain this Friday, but tonight, episode 44. Let's go, okay? Oh, yeah, I'm not even worried about, like I said, I'm not worried about this at all on my side of the ball, but it's not something, like, if this guy came into one of my videos and tried to say that stuff, he get dogpiled in the comment section. I already know that. If he came into the Discord and tried to say this stuff, he get dogpiled in the Discord. And I know at least 3 people that would be like, post pictures of themselves. Like, he works with me, by the way. Oh, how do I go through walls? Dude, I'm fat. I just walk through them like the Juggernaut. That's what I do. So, purge that. We are here. Now, I didn't hear much of the preview because I bounced into... Because I was like, fans online, click! And then I was like, wait a minute, my community will purge me. Click! Okay. We're here. It sounds intense. X in chat if you're ready to go. Because the big one's coming soon. We're here for the preview. The big one is coming soon. And I am ready. Oh, X in chat if you're ready to go. Here we go. I love. There. Are you happy now? Get your boomers out of the way. Let's go. It's not a Star Wars vs. 40K episode without me screwing up, guys. It really is not.
No. Ayla Sakura's whispered exhalation
We're there!
Ripple through the suffocating air of the rent and ruined makeshift prison. Behind her cerulean eyes, Ayla's very spirit was awash in a storm of emotions which threatened to tear her asunder even more than she already was. Her beaten form lay sprawled on the ground, shattered in flesh, soul left ringing in the wake of what she even now bore witness to. Looming before her were the very avatars of her worst nightmares. Darth Sidious, the malevolent puppet master behind the galaxy's most recent galactic war, and Inquisitor Tar Weiler, the inscrutable, grinning monster who hailed from another universe entirely. The former's lips pulled back in that horrific expression that Ayla had learned to fear. The Inquisitor holding aloft a rapier that seemed to drip with abyssal fire. Both semblances of evil seemed so engrossed in their newfound rivalry, so locked by their mutual challenge, that they paid her, broken and inconsequential as she was, no mind at all. Ayla felt some form of gratitude for that, but the sensation was fleeting. Cast
We need Michael Buffer. Right now.
Out of her the instant the two men chose to engage each other. The moment was as sudden as the arrival of an unexpected death, and twice as shocking. Ayla watching as the two approached each other and paused. Weiler's weapon roiled and moaned as he held it casually in one hand. Sidious's two blood-shaded sabers humming at either side of the Dark Lord's shrouded, black-robed body. The men seemed to flicker then, like black candle flames caught in a nearby breath. And by the time Ayla realized that their contest had truly begun, the two shadows had already exchanged several empowered blows. Gusts of hurricane-like wind buffeted out from their collisions, throwing Jedi, wounded and corpses alike across the floors and into the walls. Their duel commenced with a savagery that was a study in contrasts, like a painting in which the brightest of whites clashed with the darkest of blacks, showing Ayla shades of shadow she had never even conceived of. Darth Sidious brandished twin crimson lightsabers, their blades glowing like
In one corner, we have Creamy Sheev, the Senate. And in the other corner, we have Tar Weiler, Sharknadoes 1 through 6.
demonic eyes in the strange murk that was rapidly consuming the 9th floor. Tar Weiler's rapier, its blade a fragment of pitch darkness that shamed even the night, seemed to consume light itself, screaming through the air with each swing, leaving black arcs of fire in its wake.
You truly believe that your childish sorcery can match the might of the Inquisition?
Weiler sneered, the words spat out even as his rapier clashed with Sidious's lightsabers.
I know it's Peanuts music.
Spawning showers of malignant sparks which seemed almost alive as they flailed and flared to the steel ground.
Arrogance. Ha! Ever the folly of the uninitiated.
Sidious retorted, maneuvering his dual blades in intricate arcs, a graceful dance of death which shamed Ayla just to see it.
My order has long mastered the mysteries of the universe. We do not need to brute force our way through it. The Force obeys, for it is our right to command it.
The Sith Lord boasted, pressing his attack as he weightlessly slid and leapt about, never striking at the Inquisitor directly, always seeking to subvert Wyler's counterstrikes or offensives. The air around them surged with an invisible pressure that Ayla could almost hear. And, to the surprise of her bloodshot eyes, Sidious was doing what none of them had been able to. He was pressing Tarwyler, gaining gradual control of their mutual movement as he kept pace with the previously untouchable Imperial. Both combatants were clearly augmenting their physical abilities with techniques based within the immaterial worlds around them, empowering themselves such that the physical universe seemed to scream around them in its attempt to keep pace. They moved faster than Ayla's trained eyes could follow, blurs of lethal intent shattering themselves against one another, held intact through their impacts by the same forces which made those strikes so severe.
Creamy Sheev is moving at 75 FPS.
Wyler's rapier stabbed and slashed with a serpentine grace, his movements winding and indirect, like a snake's coils folding under itself, his every maneuver punctuated with a violent and sudden lurch forward. Meanwhile, Sidious's lightsabers wove a web of red, creating a wall of light that kept pace with the black serpent fang that was Wyler's weapon, catching and deflecting every blow thrown his way. Their conjoined arts of combat could have made small the likes of even Master Yoda. At least, that was what Ayla believed as she watched on. The room was buckling around them, waves of unseen power rippling and shimmering through the air, tearing open walls and rending apart the floors above them. The destruction and contortion of the space around the defeated Jedi only seemed to accelerate then.
Okay, seriously, I didn't think about this scene until just now. I didn't think about the way this has been set up until just now, and I want to talk about that for a second. Sidious is coming to the site of, at this point, the Jedi's greatest failure, in front of still living Jedi, and fighting the very thing that they themselves could not even hope to touch, and standing his ground against it. So, the imagery here is absolutely spectacular. He is coming to the planet in which the Jedi had failed the absolute hardest. And he is standing quite literally on their graves. And in front of the ones that are still living, he is basically standing his ground against the very threat that they themselves were powerless to save themselves from. It is such a Sidious move to make. It is dickishness to the 10th power at this point. But it's dickishness with a purpose, because I got a feeling that this is going to be used. This is going to be used very well. Yes, he is literally, he is basically just showing up and showing them this is what you could have done if you weren't, a bunch of fucking monks. I love this so much because it's so appropriate that Sidious is literally dunking on the Jedi in their face at this point.
As the physicality of the contest between the two shadow beings suddenly ruptured into overt displays of their respective dark arts. Sidious bounding up to the ceiling as he absorbed a particularly brutal strike, holding himself upside down there as he extended his arms, cackling and laughing as waves of force lightning unfurled from his body and rained down. Wyler did not miss a beat. dancing back, bolts of power bouncing off his blade and psychic radiance as he spun and attempted to contend physically with Sidious's arcane display. It almost gratified Ayla to see the Inquisitor be suddenly overwhelmed before countering with torrents of black fire. The hungering flames carried along.
He's not helping them,
Lucky.
Lucky.
Psychic
He's not helping them.
Which drove back the Sith lightning. And again, Ayla became aware that her surroundings seemed to waver and distort as the competition between them raged on. Reality itself protesting the unnatural forces being unleashed within it. The walls caved and folded, Jedi bodies both alive and dead being swallowed up into those metal confines as the steel around them seemed to breathe and grow.
Like, this is literally, he has turned the Jedi that are still alive into literal battlefield debris. Yes, he is T-posing on them, Mr. Galaxy-wide. That is the best way you could possibly say this. He is T-posing on the graves of these Jedi.
Expanding and morphing as if chemically swollen from the abyssal alchemies which had been turned loose here. Even away from the walls, Ayla could feel the floor buckling and churning under her, melting and reforming without the aid of heat. Her heart hammered as she looked back at their horrific duel, wondering how her order was ever meant to stand before such twisted and unknowable powers. The clashing between the two became so rapid and so fearsome that the sound of it resembled a thrum, the intensity building and building, but it could not build forever, nor did it. Sidious drove down into the Inquisitor, splitting black flames with his red swords, twirling, carried on winds of dark power as he slapped the crimson bars of his weapons against Tarweiler's dedicated defense. For his own part, despite having no second weapon, the Inquisitor was not struggling to keep up, at least no more than Sidious was. Ayla watched them lock swords, watched Tarweiler kick Sidious in the chest, dropping his rapier into a lowered posture, secondary hand slapping against the back of the hilt, and launching into a rising lunge that the Dark Lord of the Sith only avoided by cartwheeling back and out of the way.
Dude.
It was clear by this point in the fight that Sidious knew every single form of lightsaber combat, with the possible exception of the latest form, Vapad. But where Sidious had mastered the battle arts of the Jedi and Sith, this Tarweiler fought not with the martial teachings of 2 orders, but with the lethal wisdom of several hundred, forming out of his fighting style a chaotic amalgamation composed of very nearly every single sword fighting technique that humanity had cultivated in 10,000 years of constant escalating war. It was within this melee storm of violence, this bloodthirsty exchange of galactically assembled martial prowess, that the Imperial Inquisitor eventually gained the upper hand. It happened so quickly that Ayla was not able to spot the exact moment that the rapier found its mark, somehow sliding past Sidious's guard and scoring a searing line across the Sith Lord's chest. The two broke apart like powerful opposing magnets, Tarweiler grinning his monster's grin as he and Ayla watched Sidious rise from a crouch, a growing line of black flames spreading from his chest, lighting his hidden face with darkness. Now it was Tarweiler who cackled, Ayla feeling a strange despair, realizing at long last that not a single being of her galaxy could stand against the predators that had come from somewhere else. Even the Sith were ultimately no match, though one would not know it from the undaunted posture of the burning Dark Lord.
Like, Ayla, you need to chill the hell out, alright? You need to chill, because he's doing better than you did. He gets one cut, and you're acting like this is the end of this. He gets one cut and you're acting like this, and this ain't the end of this. Creamy Sheev has not yet released the power of dairy products on them yet.
Your lightsabers may cauterize flesh,
but the fires of the warp consume the soul.
Wyler hissed in victorious elation.
You are finished. Food for the warp.
Sidious looked down at the flames and grimaced, not from the wound, but from the realization that the duel had moved to a terrain where physical skill alone would not suffice to serve his purposes.
He's not dying.
His eyes glinted like shards of dead stars as he lowered his glowing weapons, deactivating them and having them vanish up the sleeves of his robes. He was preparing for a different kind of battle. Tar could see this as well, and looked upon the Sith Lord with mock pity.
Unable to accept the inevitable? A shame. You will die flailing against a fate no one, not even I, can prevent now.
The Inquisitor mocked. Sidious did not respond. At least,
Look, the Senate's about to veto your proposition there, Tar.
not with words which Tar Wyler could understand. Instead, he seemed to look down and speak to the flames themselves, his words strange and clipped. Wyler watched, his keen mind recording every word, though even then, his arrogance was supreme. The daemon fire he summoned was born of the most insatiable parts of the Immaterium, children of a hunger so intense, even the dark gods made scarce use of it. Wielding it was to dance the line between existence and utter obliteration, and he had seen word-bearers fail to coax the flames to stop. So Tar watched and nothing more as Sidious spoke the hideous and lost tongue of the bulk. Masters of the black flame, speakers of the chaos. Tar had seen sorcerous attempts to put out the flame, to smother it, to deny it, to bribe it into release, to beg it for mercy. But Sidious did none of these.
Kintik Hadzuska Odkaratak. Kintik Hadzuska Odkaratak. Jashin Siksa.
Damn it, he's ordering takeout at this point now.
Jashin Siksa.
Sidious spoke, summoning control of the black flame. This, his communion with the dark side. Finishing the incantation, Sidious drew in a deep breath, and as he did, the flames were torn from his chest, entering his nostrils, and with flares of power which could be seen within his shadowed eyes, the fire was gone.
And the Jedi are sitting there laying around, busted as shit, shitting their pants.
And the Inquisitor was left speechless.
Yeah?
For a moment, at least.
How?
Tar finally managed.
The flames are unquenchable. They do
Bitch, he just quenched them. He vetoed your bullshit.
not relinquish prey. How?
He demanded, raising his rapier and pointing it at the Dark Lord of the Sith. Darth Sidious, resplendent in his darkness, did not respond right away, shadows deepening all around him as he finished breathing in the breath he had taken. He exhaled darkness in place of
Say the line. Say the fucking lines.
smoke, his breath long and dragged out. Wyler's eyes darting, but unafraid. When Sidious spoke again, he did so in a deep, demonic voice that drew what little breath Ayla had out of her lungs.
He's gonna say it.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities the weak and short-sighted consider to be unnatural.
Yay!
Tar edged back, the air seeming to rumble without noise. He knew what this was.
Fine, good! He sent the thing!
One of her slender hands slid across the exposed skin under her neural interface band, wicking away sweat with the act, and being full.
Shimi has gone super. Yes. Yes. Troy, aren't there any non-old created species that aren't warp attuned? Because being able to create gods from a groupthink sounds like a feature, not a bug. The orcs. Troy, the orcs.
Forced to mentally negate.
Okay. Sheev. Sheev has processed your flame and used it to create extra hot cheddar. Shit.
The implied
Oh
commands
my God,
that the
that's
gesture
awesome.
issued to the Oracle.
We all knew that line was coming. We all knew that line was coming. We all knew that line was coming. If you say you didn't know that line was coming, what the fuck are you doing? Seriously. We all knew that line was coming. Jeez. She's sitting there feeling more confident. Tar Weiler's pissed off. The Jedi at this point are popping diamonds out of their asses from the amount of pucker factor that's in that room right now. It's like, how much harder does Sheev need at this point to tap dance all over their ego? He's shitting on them. At the same time he's testing himself, he's shitting on them. I fucking love it.
Computer system. A system that Omega was now very much a part of. Few of the previous battle simulations had pressed her this hard, and none of them, not a single one, had borne the stakes this game now held over her.
Mr. Galaxy-wide, you'd like to point out that Yoda is from a species of space frogs that are force sensitive, and whose home world just unknown. Just saying, Yoda is not an old one.
Omega flicked her
Thank you,
wrist,
Mr. Galaxy-wide.
readjusting the assault positions of countless warships with the act. Her commands then processed and disseminated by her team. In the black, insubstantial sea of the void, Venators banked, their engines burning like dim stars in the endless night between worlds. Their weapons fired in rapid succession, a chorus of colored plasma raining like hail, splashing and shattering upon the skins of the behemoths all around them. And every few moments, one of those monsters they had warred against would swat a swathe of them out of the darkness, annihilating them with shells, cannons, and strafing lines of volatile energy.
Okay, how much mental and emotional damage is it going to cause Omega to realize that she is involved in an actual battle right now that is getting a lot of people killed? Emotional damage! Okay, Troy, I mean, it would mean old ones made humanity because warp attunement shouldn't be natural evolution. The old ones did make humanity, Troy. They did do this.
But the swarms of the Republic were many, and the gargantuan beasts of the Imperium were few. And Omega knew that she could win out with precision and ruthless application of the needed maneuvers. And so it had gone, with Omega and her many captains dueling against the Lord Admiral of the Imperium and the many lesser admirals beneath her, all of whom served as Omega's presumably simulated opponents. They exchanged blows, the ships and the steel of their bodies acting as the blades of their sabers as they dueled each other back and forth, a dozen metaphorical rapiers clashing, each held in as many arms between the two of them. Nearly an hour had passed, and already 56 different critical moments had been reached, from small conflicts or skirmishes within the larger battle to heavy fighting and obviously prime priority engagements. No matter their apparent size, each and every single one of these 56 points had been situations which could change the flow of the battle and could have caused full reversals of her current momentum had even a single one soured badly enough. But Omega had managed to win or stalemate each and every single one so far,
Oh boy.
clearing her mind of all distractions seeking only what needed to be done to survive every critical encounter as they occurred, always looking to implement her largest strategy whenever she could. At the end of the day, no matter what intelligence she was facing, this battle, any battle, was just angles, numbers, possibilities, and probabilities. Nothing could overcome that fact, and that fact would not overcome Omega's will to see her small group remain whole. All around her, each one of the other clones that composed her impromptu family were struggling to keep pace with their young leader. A single moment, a tiny lapse, even a temporary hesitation could easily cost them 50 ships and tens of thousands of lives along with them. They all wanted to stay together just as badly as Omega. However, two factors kept them from matching the lethal speed and tactics of her moment-to-moment commands. Firstly, she was simply superior. With a grasp of physics and tactics which bordered on the preternatural, Omega was so apt at reading and noticing details and patterns that even the others in her group suspected that she may have somehow been cloned as a Force sensitive. With an eye sharper than a vibroblade, and a mind born of the gene furnace that was what remained of Jango Fett's existence, Omega did not lack for decisiveness either, and her application of tactics was either immediately effective or quickly corrected. And yet, even with this advantage, there was something else holding the others back that Omega was not bound to. One after the other, the clone children of Omega's strategy command team came to a realization that their leader was simply blind to, perhaps even subconsciously choosing to not see what they had all realized. This was not a simulation. This was real. These numbers were real. The Armada was real. The Imperials were real. And the sacrifices that they were making to keep their momentum going and their victory assured was most certainly real. Tears dripped from unblinking eyes as commands were parsed and sent, hearts beating like leaden pumps in frail chests, every beat becoming harder and harder with each callous command they issued forth. But none, not one, had the heart or the will to tell Omega the truth, or to even signal it, for while parts of them died as tens of thousands perished at their orders, it was clear from the narrowness of their lead that each and every single one had been a required loss for the sake of victory. And so, Omega, unknowing, innocent goddess of death, danced and spun her strategy over the convulsing, dying masses of Republic and Imperial ships. More and more their momentum was mounting. Further and further ahead did their victory take them, and all it had cost them to this moment was nearly a quarter and a half of their combined fleet strength. Most of those lost Republic ships did not meet their end in the direct battle that was occurring even now, however, for such mass losses in such a short amount of time would have been almost impossible to manage unless she had been trying to get her units obliterated. The whale-like behemoths of the Imperial fleet circled and spun lazily in the void sea, engines burning outlines into space like vast fins of fire as their enormous weapons belched sure death into the clouds and shoals of surrounding Republic vessels. But those overpowered weapons could only be so effective when overkill earned them nothing, and Omega had already adopted strategies to keep each single blast of their gargantuan guns from destroying an optimum number of her own ships. No, the true lethal threat came from the vast line of even larger, stranger vessels who kept their distance from the body of the battle. Despite that distance, their participation was no less present as they fired massive and varied weapons from their positions, creating a myriad of destructive and debilitating effects across the entire battlefield. Gravitational wave bombs rippled the very fabric of space-time in a visible way. Novatic detonations exploded in fiery violence, briefly resembling stars in their expanding brilliance. Ionized particulate torpedoes blossomed in ways which resembled brilliant fields of blue and purple flowers in the black backdrop of the battle, creating nebulas of crippling energies which could strip the functionality from a Venator like a hurricane wind could blow out a candle. The battlefield conditions continued to change, and Omega continued to adapt. However, she did not seek out the distant, bombarding behemoths, calculating that the overall battle would be harmed by splitting her forces. Even now, as wedge-shaped Republic ships splintered and burst on waves of unseen gravitational energy, or were burnt molten in the embrace of sun-like explosions, the bleeding monsters of the Imperials began to die as well, and with each felled Imperial ship, much of their fleet strength would be bitten away.
Right.
Each time an Imperial ship became too crippled by the ongoing battle or was destroyed by Republic vessels, at least 2 other Imperial ships would break off from their battle positions, anchor the vessel brutally with large chains, and drag it away into screaming, swirling portals of blue and black energy. Thus, breaking one vessel meant subtracting 3 from the battle, an advantage that was rapidly giving Omega dominance in this contest. But only so long as their concentrated fire efforts remained consistent, and they could only remain consistent if she did not split her attack power in half. So, men died and fired, killed from behind by the enemies they were forbidden to pursue. The netherworld was flushed with the dead, but Omega could not feel their presence, nor could she hear their legion. Not until, suddenly, a small red line of script appeared in the corner of her vision.
Oh, no.
In the midst of her void-born duel with the Imperium.
Connection error detected.
Omega barely noticed it at first.
Oh,
It was someone
no.
else's problem, someone else's job. That changed quickly as the illuminating panels of hologram projectors which surrounded her began to fail. Their projected 3-dimensional screens going red and losing all detail one after another in quick succession. The same soon occurred on the monitors all of her supporting team were working on, the screens becoming crimson sheets with the word error written in white at the center.
What the...
Omega said, looking around in confusion. The others did much the
A player has disconnected.
same, with Arcanian angrily slapping his console
not the
with a
Space
wide
Marines.
hand to try to coax it
It's
back
not
into
scrap
function.
code.
Sprout
It's not the
slowly lifted his
Mechanicus.
face away from the console, the blood draining from his features.
Did the simulator break?
No.
Omega added a moment later, just before the lights
It's
all
not the
suddenly
machine
shut
god.
down, a deep whine in the ship walls signaling the powering down of the main engine.
It's not
the
scrap
clones
code.
found themselves awash in the darkness, blind until the lights suddenly came back on. Another rising whine denoting the restart of the power systems as the ship came back online. No one came in for them. The door into the room did not open, and the glass observation center above them did not issue any commands, nor did its large glass window become any less opaque. Omega shrugged nervously, looking back at the projectors as they began to flicker back into life, the screens on the support consoles following suit. But even after reactivating, they were blank.
I know what this is.
System response request? Manual access mode?
Omega said to the computer, nervousness clear in her voice. Was troubleshooting part of the simulation test now? The holograms did not respond to her at first, before a single word written in white text appeared, hovering before her. Omega squinted at the word and read it out loud.
Receiving...
Read Omega.
Is that a bit strange?
Asked Meek, the willowy clone cadet who stationed one of the lower consoles, the one to Omega's right.
Yeah, aren't the system framework responses normally in a larger text?
Sprout added, sitting right above Meek in one of the upper consoles.
Also, it's in a different font too.
Ally said from over Omega's shoulder.
What are you guys whining about? Computer's probably got an upgrade that changed a few things. Let's get this error worked out. You know
Oh, hold on a second. Oh, there's a planet with magic space wolves that are spirits which guard the planet and the gate to the Force. The space wolves will feel right at home, and Kane is currently drinking, Tanner, and sleeping. Yes, Mr. Galaxy-wide. But as of right now, we're about to yes. Yes!
What is happening every second? We are cut off from the Armada, right?
Arcanian insisted.
Ark's right.
Bullshit is
Sad
happening, Wolf
Omega.
Knight!
Think about it. This simulation has been more detailed and complex than any we've had thus far. I'm not even surprised the computers could not handle it. It only makes sense that they would have gotten upgrades before this game began.
She explained, unaware of how her teammates cringed.
Yes!
All of them knowing quite well that this was no simulation.
Yes, Omega! You're about to experience the Crimson Cringe!
And not a single one among them with the courage or motivation to tell her the truth. At least, not yet. Omega stretched and cracked her back a little before continuing.
Okay, system check. What is stopping us from resuming the operation?
Omega commanded, crossing her arms as she waited for a response. The previous message vanished and a single floating dot appeared in the air where it had been, blinking on and off for a few moments. Then it was replaced by another response, which Omega chose to read out loud.
Checking. What operation is not resuming currently?
The young clone said, eyebrows askew in confusion which tainted the tone of her voice as she read the response.
How can the computer not know its own operation?
Ally asked, voice puzzled.
Must be some kind of critical system error.
Meek muttered,
Do you think we can still troubleshoot our way through this?
No.
asked Arcanian. Omega shrugged her shoulders and sighed, tapping her chin as Sprout bit his lip, a suspicion slipping serpentine and vile into his mind.
Resume command and control operations over the current Republic fleet action.
Omega began to say before Sprout suddenly yelled and almost fell out of his console alcove.
Omega, wait!
Thank you for saying the line, Howie. Thank you for saying the line. Oh, I got a feeling the cog... Like, I assumed it was some work shenanigans, but as soon as I saw the text pop up on the screen... The Mechanicus has noticed that your pretty little ships are out there, and they have come to tell you about their extended warranty and how they're revoking your shit. Guys, it's the Mechanicus. It's got to be the Mechanicus. It has to be the Mechanicus at this point, okay? But I don't know quite how. But this is so one of the ships is Arc Mechanicus. I have little doubt in my mind things are going. Yes, it's the Mechanicus. She's about to learn a painful lesson. By the time we get to Exo 40, the needle had broken its limiter and was simply spinning continuous accelerating circles. Oh, the Tech Marines are about to do something horrible. For this theoretical dial, because after this teaser, it just is like, okay, so maybe Clanker, maybe. Now there are certain types of Mechanicus personnel that would go that, you know, they're basically Mechanicus assassin. I can't remember what they're called exactly, but they're essentially assassins of the Mechanicus. One of them could be on there. All the arcs are out there from the evacuated Forge world. So that's a lot of arcs, guys. And if a Mechanicus arc is utterly gargantuan, okay? It's utterly gargantuan. Now, with that being said, there are a lot of people in the Mechanicus that have a lot of things that would be considered tech heresy just to have, okay? There's going to be a lot of problems. Omega is about to learn So, okay, let's talk about the first part, okay? Creamy She versus Tarweiler. Now, I did not think Creamy Sheev would be able to stand up to Tarweiler. I really like the fact that I love the way this was written. He is standing parallel to him. Tarweiler has tricks he's never seen before, and he's got tricks Tarweiler's never seen before. I'm loving... Yeah, Q Unfortunate Son. I'm loving how this is looking. I love the imagery here because it's like I said flat out. Under or over one. What were you originally thinking? I honestly thought, and it might be a combination of the two, Thors. I honestly thought what was going on with Omega is a warp storm had formed because there are so many people that have died on Axum, and there's so many people that are died on above Axum because you heard it. So many ships are getting killed. The worst part is Oh, that's right, fan. I didn't even think about that. Maybe, just maybe, Trazyn the Infinite didn't capture Urzakar Creed, and maybe Urzakar Creed is having a Warhound Titan step out from behind a potted plant in Omega's facility. I'm just saying, might be what's happening. Tar and Sheaf fighting down to the wire and then deciding, yeah, we both got to ditch this mutual destruction. They're not going to do that. Now, at first I was thinking it was a warp storm that might be causing the interference, but with the different font and everything else like that, I'm beginning to think that somebody on board one of the Art Mechanicus has something that is causing this. In either case, it's not good for the Republic. And here's the worst thing about this, with Omega not realizing how real the stakes are. If Omega actually realized the stakes, she would have never taken this. She would have never taken this battle, because what's happening is the Imperial ships are getting out. The Imperial ships are getting damaged. They're losing some, but most of them are getting out. They're emergency warp jumping away from the battle, but they're not being destroyed. They will be repaired. The Republic is losing their fleet. They're losing their fleet by the ass ton. This is a Pyrrhic victory in the slightest if it ended there. You'd like to point out that the Chiss might join the Imperium if they're more helpful or powerful? Yes, they are. Could it be a Vanus assassin? I don't think so. It might be a Mechanicus assassin, but I'm not sure. Thank you, Blue Lick. Old man, it's the weird 8-foot tall alien on the ship. Start claiming to be some dude named Alfarius. Yeah, she has no idea what she's really doing. To her, this is just a simulation. There are no long-term consequences. But the sheer fact of the matter is, the Republic is sending the biggest fleet they have against the Imperium. They're winning, but they're losing too much. They're losing way too damn much to continue this in any way, shape, or form. Jarrett, if I hear somebody claiming they're Alfarius, I'm going to laugh my ass off. Okay? The Imperium would... Okay, so here's something that you've seen. So, Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka is a registered in the Imperium's own records. She is an abhuman. The Chiss could be tolerated as abhumans. They lost 1.25 of their fleet, 7,000 ships in total, which means they have lost at least 1,800 ships so far. That is utterly nonsensical. It is brutal. How do you think the Mandalorians will feel? How the future rebels are going to survive with Palpatine. Okay, so here's the thing. Even if the Imperium vanished, like, legitimately in the next 15 seconds in this story, even the Imperium vanished, everything is screwed now. Mace Windu is screwed in the head. I'm not even going to talk about that. Let's just talk about the fact that Tarweiler and Sidious's duel alone has just made so many Jedi step away from the Jedi Temple. It is done. It is done. The Chiss and the Salamanders can easily get along. Yeah, pretty much. The Republic can win the battle, but they can't win the war if they play the attrition game. No, they can't. They really can't. The will of the Force won't allow the Chaos Gods and their demons to appear in the galaxy so long as it lives and exists. Maybe. Will the Mandos join the Imperium? Probably. I could say so. They would like what they see for the most part. The Mandalorians were not fans of anything. Just saying. I mean, that one planet, the warriors on it, yeah. Anakin becoming the Ever-Chosen. Let's get back to Tarweiler and Creamy Sheev. What about the Eldar children? Commodus Arcane is still out there. Yeah, the Nostramans are human, yes, very much so. Right now, the Republic is... If your math is right, that's around 13.5 million dead Navy crew. That's not surprising to me. That is really not surprising to me. This is a large scale fleet engagement between the Imperium and another galactic power. It really should not be surprising. At this point, it's still up in the air for me who wins between Tarweiler and Sidious. Tarweiler is fighting with complete and total skill and power. And Sidious flat out has the focus thing hands down. It is just ridiculous in that regard. How would the Imperium react to the Doomslayer? That's a wonderful Space Marine. If the Dark Eldar in the galaxy, how much destabilization could they do Republic and prevent them from mobilizing? The Dark Eldar would just be a group of dicks at that point because they don't need to do anything to refresh their souls. No idea. The Republic is luck. The Imperium is not a large crusading force. Actually, the Imperium... This fleet of the Imperium is actually refugees. The Republic fleet casualties are not as bad as you think. Dude, they're still bad. They're still horrifying to even contemplate for a single battle. This battle alone... The Republic needed to do this at some point because they could not afford to try to pick apart the Imperium. They can't afford to do it. They've got to hit it with everything they have. Do some damage and then get out. The problem is Omega doesn't realize the stakes that she's playing with, and she's losing a large portion of her fleet for very little. Like she's making short-term gains, but she's losing long-term. That's what's happening. Oh, let's see. Okay, guys. Screw the towel. The Imperium would consider Mandos corn cultists. They are spike-helmeted warriors who crave honor and battle, led by a mutant red-tattooed psyker. He is sustained by hate and rage. Not really. I doubt that. I highly doubt that they would see it that way. The single battle lost more lives than they did with the 3-year war. Crank up those numbers, Ezra. The Dark Elves will find out they're going to be free from Slanesh here, then they're going to be breed and clone like rabbits. Yeah, that's true. Thought you were going to live on... I thought you were going to live this on 10.7? Why 10.7? No idea, bud. A Crusade force, even the smallest recorded one, would stomp most of the Republic. Pretty much. A Crusade... Okay, so Fan had to do some things with the Republic numbers, because the Republic numbers... I've always thought the numbers for the Republic were kind of stupid. Because you're talking about a galaxy the size of the Star Wars galaxy only had 7 million clone troopers? No, that's kind of stupid. one of the things I like about this, and if you've heard me talk about Star Wars versus 40K at all, in terms of ship, power scaling, anything like that, you know my opinion. I'm enjoying this irregardless of my opinion because of the fact that it's done so damned well, okay? It's done so damned well. And X in the chat for fan, because this was great, okay? But in this battle, you really do see an Imperial battle group versus a Republic battle group, because I have been saying it for quite some time now, that if a Republic battle group, like if you took a Venator class starship, your average cruiser would wipe it out in just seconds. It would not even be a fight. You'd have to have numbers on this side of the Republic in order to even hurt them. Let's see. Thoughts on an episode of Trazyn and Thrawn geeking out over alien culture? Trazyn would steal Thrawn. What are you talking about? I still want Thrawn to show up because I would be very interested to see what would happen if Thrawn showed up. I'd be more interested to see which side he'd be on. To be very, very honest with you, I'd be more interested to see how that planned out, because Omega's good, Thrawn's better. Just saying. 7 million couldn't even take Vrax. You're right. The Republic realistically should be in the billions, even if Kamino fell. Very, very true. Very, very true. One crossfic, a Marvel and Star Wars crossover, had the author set up the Galactic Republic Army having a bare minimum of 3 billion clones. Yeah, that's still pathetic numbers. Is there a Trazyn of the Star Wars universe? Yeah, Grievous with the lightsabers. Thrawn would smack the shit out of that little girl for her strategies. He wouldn't smack the shit out of her. He'd be like, he doesn't do that. Thrawn isn't the thing I love about Thrawn is a mental threat. He's not a physical threat at all. He's not a physical threat. He is a mental threat. For the first time, the IG had an easy fight. Comparatively, yeah. Can the Lion truly forgive Luther? No. The Lion can get the fuck over himself for the most part. Guys, you think there's anyone in the Imperium that could counter Thrawn or Omega? Thrawn, I have always said flat out, would be on the level of a Solar. Of someone that you would consider a Sector Admiral or Solar. I've said that many, many times. Thrawn would be in very, very good company in the Imperium's upper admiralty. He would be in extremely good company. But let's see. Like I said, he would be in extremely good company in the Imperial Admiralty. Not in the lower echelons, but in the high echelons, okay? I'm saying Thrawn would be... If you took someone with Thrawn's abilities, I would be happy slapping him in command of any fleet the Imperium had engaging any threat. Just flat out happy with it. How would wildlife invasive species like Catachan devils affect the local communities in the Star Wars galaxy, like Australia has to deal with them constantly? That would be fucking hilarious. I want the Groks to be put on Naboo. I want the Groks on Naboo, because I want to see Jar Jar Binks' annoying ass being used as a chew toy. Just saying. Fan says Thrawn would have a particular advantage when battling the Imperium. Yes, he would. He would have a dynamic advantage because Thrawn uses every ship that he has, like... He uses everything. And the more variables Thrawn has to throw at somebody, the better he gets. The better he gets. Thrawn could quite literally take an army of millions and make it seem like an army of billions, just because of how much he does. Sidious would not be able to touch a Primarch. Maybe not. Depends on the Primarch. You know, Maybe, maybe not. Depends on the Primarch. I'm just saying. He would Trent. He would have a great time doing that. Thrawn uses the art and culture of the enemy to Ender's game his enemies. This is very, very true. And he's also the more stuff you give him, and the more he learns about his opponent, the better off he's going to be. Yeah, Imperial. Yeah, they broadcast their culture extremely openly, fam. You've yet to watch Ender's Game. Ender's Game is a decent movie. It's a better book series. I'm just saying. Magnus versus City. Magnus. Magnus. I mean, Malcador nearly choked out Horus. Yeah, he really did nearly choke out Horus. Thrawn with the resources used to take Vrax could take it about 6 years, give or take. No, Ronnie, don't think so. Thrawn is a fleet admiral. He does know how to use ground troops, but Vrax was a beast and a half, and they sent an army specifically designed to counter it, and it still was a bitch. Catachan Devils preying on Felucia Brimble Rancors would be an interesting conflict. Yes, very much. Sidious taking out Lorgar would have been hilarious. Anyone taking out Lorgar is fucking hilarious, okay? Book is better? Yes, it is. The book is a classic. What do you think is going to be the moment the Republic realizes the horror that has been the wider Republic isn't gonna, unless somebody is a fucking idiot, they aren't gonna tell the wider Republic about what's going on that planet. Unless somebody is an absolute moron, they're not gonna tell them about what's going on. I'll tell you why. So, the second that a lot of worlds in the Star Wars universe find out that there is a human civilization that is massively xenophobic, is out there, capable not only of standing its own against the Republic, but is actually capable of thrashing the Republic very soundly, even with superior numbers given to them. And the Republic is literally having to throw everything they have at this group to even slow them down. At that point, one of three things happen. One, they get demoralized. Two, they panic. Three, they switch sides. And depending on which inner world you're talking about, the three was going to be more often than not. The third option will be more often than not. Because the Empire became human-centric for a number of reasons, okay? Oh, do not underestimate the stupidity of people. Blue Lick, I try never to. Every once in a while I feel my brain collapse from it, but I try never to, okay? Guys, X in chat, this was fucking awesome. We got the start of the duel I wanted between Sidious and Tarweiler. The continuation of the space battle, and I'm pretty damn sure what's happening to Omega right now. Omega, ending, Ender, love it. Pretty sure what's happening to Omega right now is quite simply the Mechanicus starting to screw with her. Oh my god. Keep in mind, the Imperium already destroyed most of the Confederacy of Independence. Yes, they did. They obliterated them. If the wider galaxy was to learn of this war, it would feed chaos. It could feed chaos. Chaos isn't strong enough in this universe to actually be really, really fed. Chaos exists in a much different way in Star Wars. Now, it exists close to the humans of the Imperium because the Imperium is used to seeing it in that fashion. The rest of the universe isn't used to seeing it in that fashion. The warp here is impressively placid. Okay? See you next time, fan. Oh my god. No, they really don't check for them. Is Mace going to be a champion undivided? I have no idea. The Imperium does accept adhumans. Yes, they do. Well, you know what they're not going to accept? They're not going to accept the Mon Calamari. We're going to have fish fillets, I'm telling you. Actually, Sebastian, the Imperium is surprisingly inclusive of abhumans. They're surprisingly inclusive of abhumans. And the thing about it is, the difference between abhumans in the Imperium and abhumans in the Star Wars galaxy is that in Star Wars, they are halfway treated like second-class citizens by many members of the inner circle, the inner thing. In the Imperium, it would happen too, but they wouldn't be, their intention wouldn't be hiding behind smiles. What's up, Clanker? Looks like seafood's back on the menus? Yes. If the orcs become an infestation, how much of a foothold would they need to grow into critical mass? Would they need 10 years to develop and spread them on multiple worlds to spread their spores? Thors, you're completely correct. Fish and the Wookiees would be eradicated? Yes. The Mon Calamari will be boiled fish from Exterminatus? Very true. There's like 10 abhumans in the Imperium that are accepted by the Imperium. Yes. That's why I'm saying the Chiss would have no problem being integrated in. The Mandalorians, even if they are slightly abhuman, would have no problems blending in, because sheer fact of the matter is, how can you tell a Mandalorian apart from a regular Imperium? You can't. The race of General Grievous is going to give them a very hard time. Thrawn couldn't even stop them. Yes. Most alien species come from humans being modified by the rat attack species about 20,000 years ago before the Republic existed. Yes, aliens are abhuman. No, we're still not taking them on Calamari. Rogue Traders will be having a field day. What do you think? Yes? Oh, God. Could the Transformers, Mass Effect, and Halo universes beat 40K? Don't know. Transformers, no. Like, Optimus Prime yells, "Go Autobots," and immediately gets stomped on by Imperator. Mass Effect, I haven't played. Halo, not a chance, in my opinion. Togruta? Oh, okay. If the Imperium learns of the Recitans and how they made the abhumans, they would be more accepted. Honestly, Galaxy, the sheer fact of the matter is, most humans already, like, the humans that have power in the Imperium, they might be more accepting. The lower classes might be more accepting. It's, honestly, you have to get around the hyper-zealous for accepted abhumans to be treated with any kind of real, like, open disdain, okay? Just saying. Are there any War Master Titans left in the Imperium? I'm pretty sure there are. I just don't know where right now, in what Titan legions they're in, but there are War Masters. The War Master's nothing more than an altered Imperator. That's all that the War Master really is. The Strange Coruscant is going to be a breeding ground either for future Chaos Corruption or another Eye of Terror. No, there are people on the way to Coruscant to spread Imperial culture. The lore from the comics is insane. True. Guys, X in the chat if you had fun with this. It is time for me to get off of here. It is time for me to basically... I gotta get a thumbnail done, get something up for you guys. Yeah. This was fun. And I miss this. I very much miss this. Guys, I'm heading out. Thank you for joining me. Let me just look at this one more time. 1 second. I'm just going to look at this one more time before we get off of this. I am extremely pleased with this. Yep. That's a wonderful sight. Guys, I'll see you next time.